Welcome back. Started dieting and workouts, but weight is going up. Here's why. Now, if you're wondering what happened, why it's not working out, why you're not losing weight, if you're trying to change your diet and you're exercising more, I'm going to break it down for you in this video. And you're not the only person who's struggling with this or confused by it. I actually saw this online. See if you can relate to it. I used to be a very experienced weightlifter and had a significant amount of muscle mass, then became sedentary and gained about 50 pounds in about a year and a half. I've now grown tired of being obese and want to get back where I used to be. I have been dieting. So that's common experience. I'm going to break it down for you in this video. If it's your first time here, my name is Reggie. I'm the founder of Fit for Freelance. I help business owners lose weight and feel their best without crash diets or guilt. Now, if you've been tired of struggling with inconsistent results, there's a free 3-minute Live Aligned scorecard link below to help you uncover what's blocking your weight loss and get clear next steps. Now, one thing to point out here, as a former weightlifter, if you have weightlifting experience, you used to be ripped and then like you change your job or move cities and now you're more sedentary and you kind of prioritize other things. Maybe you have some big family changes, right? Tons of reasons why we don't stay, in the gym or as fit as we want to be. But if you used to do it, your body can regain muscle mass a lot faster than most people, especially in the first week. It's just something your body is adapted to do. And that the muscle hypertrophy and the water mass it holds can make the scale rise. And the scale doesn't account for lean muscle mass. So it's just like the number goes up and you're like, why am I gaining weight when I'm trying to exercise and work out and lose weight? So this is a common thing. What's going on? Your muscles store glycogen, a little tongue twister, which also brings water. That stuff loves water. So all of that in your body increases your muscle volume and mass, and then you gain weight on a scale. And if you're taking creatine, then you're probably going to gain even more weight there. So that can add weight, even as fat is slowly coming off. Just something to keep in mind for my former weightlifting peers, friends, subscribers, you. Okay. So, two, you became sedentary, burning fewer calories from everyday movement. This happens all the time. And the easiest fix to this is just get back to what you used to do, right? If you had a plan that you would go do something after work, like you would go to the gym or go for a little run, get back into that. Or if you used to be like a 5K runner, 10K runner, or something like that, get back into training for those. And that's a good way to increase your physical activity. Now, what happens when people become more sedentary? That usually decreases their non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So if you go from like a job that has you standing a lot, or you're working, or maybe more manual labor job, and you go into like a desk job and you're just sitting all day, then that change in the amount that you're moving, you'll burn fewer calories in your new role. And so if you burn fewer calories, then you have to eat less, eat fewer calories, or regain that activity somewhere else. So be intentional about this. Usually the best way to do this is getting more active as you used to be. So that's another tip here. Another thing, big thing about your expectations, 1 week of dieting can't undo a year and a half of weight gain. And this is what I like to point out. Sometimes it's like the expectation, like if you are focused and locked in with your weight loss program, you can lose about 1 pound per week. Some people are more comfortable with like a more gradual change in weight loss, but sometimes like you just have to be realistic with what's going on. So a year and a half before you take action, that's 78 weeks. And so to think that you're just instantly going to see some declines there deserves questioning. You want to be mindful of how you're thinking about that, because if it took you 78 weeks to gain the weight, then realistically you can expect to lose it over a course of 78 weeks of thoughtful choices when it comes to eating and activity habits, because that's usually what contributed to the change over that span of time. Next, I have being realistic helps reduce stress and frustration. So if you have a clearer picture of how long your changes might take or what it takes to get those results, then you can feel like you can take more realistic steps towards it. You don't have to feel worried about it or concerned or frustrated or upset, because you know, like, oh, it's going to take a little bit more time than I would have guessed up front, because now I understand the changes I had to make, how difficult they can be, or upgrading the systems that make that possible. And that's what helps. So being realistic helps reduce your stress and frustration. If you aren't realistic, you're going to have a hard time. A good way to get realistic is that live a line scorecard link below. That way you can check and see what's going on, get a good standard. And another thing here, 78 weeks sounds like a long time. I understand that. However, the time will pass and you're going to be eating every day anyway. I've covered this a few times here where, like, even if you don't plan your meals or you don't think about what you're eating, you're going to be eating like most days. Right. And you also are going to have some level of physical activity just by existing. Even if you sit all day, then that is the physical activity that you're doing. And you want to consider whether that is supporting your life and your health goals and how you want to live, or if it's harming you, right? Or if it's causing you to gain weight, any of that. So the time will pass. Are you going to make decisions that let your health support your life? Important question here. And then the next one, what does a healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams look like? Is it just going through life, not really considering what you eat on a daily basis, gradually gaining weight because you aren't thinking about the systems in which you're making your food choices, right? Some of that is preventable. Just think about it. What does a healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams look like? And then finally, the tip I have for you, focus on trends over your daily scale readings, because when you're making changes, your body's not linearly going to decrease or increase. Usually there's like a day that's up and a day that's down, or a day that stays the same. And it's not like people will have the idea that fuel calories are a fueling tank, like a gas tank or something like that. It doesn't work like that in a 1-to-1 ratio. Hormones fluctuate throughout the month. So you want to look at the trends over time and then make adjustments in your process to get the results that you want. Don't just look at the scale and be like, oh, scale didn't work. Something's wrong with me. My life sucks, right? That's how you get stuck. So focus on trend over daily scale readings. Maybe even don't use your scale. I've covered this in the video you can watch next. Why can't I lose weight? Why your scale sucks? I'll put that video up here. So that's today's message. Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, keep practicing. Peace.